Good afternoon, everyone. We have all eaten. We are all ready. We have 2 more sessions for the afternoon. Our first session for the afternoon begins now. But the fact that I know that when we eat, a lay down time, and me no want to lay down for me today. So, I'm going to want you to do something for me before we get into it. So, all eyes on me. All ears opened. And we're ready. Me can't sing, so no down there go say, what kind of singing that? Okay, ready. If me miss something, no help me, alright? That's something I have to do, you know. Lean forward, lean backward, to the left, to the right. Stand up. Stand up. Sit down. To the left, to the right. So that was the chill moment. So we're ready now? Don't rock too hard because we don't want to drink water, I don't drink drinks and all these things, okay? Ready? Lean forward, lean backward, to the left, to the right. Stand up, sit down, to the left, to the right. Last time. Lean forward, lean backward, to the left, to the right. Stand up, sit down, to the right, to the left. All right. So we should be ready now for our third session for this afternoon, entitled, by the way, want to enjoy this morning? Want to learn something, right? We learn new things too. So I hope you can go home with those new things and start initiate it in home and help out teacher at school too, right? So this morning, those who missed it, who are joining us for the first time this afternoon, we had a session about parental empowerment and also about the stream inquiries. So this afternoon session, we'll be looking at school plus home, and that will give us learning and equipping families to enhance and extend learning at home. So home, school, home, learning, equipping families to enhance and extend learning at home. So of course, since this is our third session, and we know that for every session, you need to tell us that you are here. So the registration process is the same. All right? So the link is on the board if you have your QR code scanner on your phone. If you're having challenges, the physical one will be circulated by my colleague, Mrs. Pandui. And of course, when the session ends, you're also expected to do a little evaluation of the session, how you found it, was it good, did you want more, something else needed to be added. We need to know so that we can do better planning for the next PDI. And of course, we need to remember, we need to let social media know what is going on at Jamaica Conference Center. So on the social media spaces, you highlight us using the hashtag ECCPDI 2024, 12 Standards Matter. So the presenter for this afternoon, I met her in person at the last PDI. She tell me, say she nervous. I tell her, say she not nervous because I may go introduce her and she know me. Her name is Mrs. Natisha Johnson, and she's a graduate of the Walden University with a Master's of Science in Leadership. She's also a graduate of the Noble Michael University with a Bachelor's of Science in Guidance and Counseling. She is practicing guidance and counseling. She's a practicing guidance and counselor, for over 15 years. She likes to do photography. She's a skilled photographer, and she does a little interior decorating. Her favorite book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, who is also one of her mentors in the virtual space. Natisha's life mission statement is to become the best version of herself and help others to metamorphosize into their true self. She loves to participate in lifelong learning so that she can evolve and adapt to change, to inspire positive social change through mentoring and coaching, to help in creating opportunities for others to realize their truest potentials, to nurture and support others' growth by encouraging inquiry and exploration, to teach empathy, and positively impact everyone that she meets. She has been married for 13 years to Mr. Alton Johnson, and she has one son who is 7 years old. Help me welcome Mrs. Natisha Johnson to the stage. Give her a warm, warm afternoon welcome. And of course, please remember, you can make note of your questions and comments for her, and those will be shared at the end of the session. And once your participation is required, please do so. Thank you. Give her a clap till she gets here.
Good afternoon, everyone. What a time to present after we have eaten. What did we have for lunch? Was it heavy, light? Heavy. What ships in or what sets in after that? Niggeritis. But you know what? We oftentimes hear that, but that's not necessarily true. Because if it is that our bodies are using up the nutrients that we put in and our metabolic rate is good, you know that really don't fall asleep because food is actually fuel. So it gives you the opportunity to keep going. You think that's what will happen this afternoon? Let me hear your voices. Yes, I believe that is what is going to happen. So the first thing we're going to do, I want to say thank you for the beautiful pronouncements that were made about me. And secondly, I'd like to ask each person to just pull out a sheet of paper and a pen or pencil. This is, you've done it maybe before, but you're going to now make 9 dots. 9 dots, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let me do it also so you can see. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Saw that? Needed a marker? We got it? Good. Now you're going to use 5 lines to connect all the dots without raising your pen from the, or pencil from the paper. I give you 2 seconds. 5 seconds to do that. So connect the dots. And we don't have anyone watching over you, but as we're talking about today, our topic, parenting and how important it is, and one of the things we teach is the value of honesty. You did it? Wow. All the dots must be connected. No open space. No open space. Must be closed in. 5 lines. All right, 2 more seconds, because time is of the essence. Come up here. You did it? 5 lines, good. Hold it up. Once you've done it, walk come up here and come for your chocolate. Come on. Quickly, quickly, quickly. Show me, show me, show me. She says, come down. No, no, no. No, 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 no. All dots must be connected. One more person gets the opportunity. I was so excited a while ago. Quickly. So everything must be connected. Let's watch. 1. Run fast, hurry up. So everything must be connected. So let's watch. We go down. Anti-weight, time of the essence. Something we're going to talk about again. See? So every dot. Come again. Maybe my eyes. You see how far I am? Maybe my eyes weren't working. Come, hurry up and come. It happens. Come. Almost. The one almost, I'm taking 2 and then we're going to move straight into the session. All right, let me see. Oh, okay, yes, we had, but you should touch the, oh, you don't touch the, no, she didn't touch the dot, give me the paper. No, it's done correctly now, and it's instructive that you touch it. No, she passed by it. You see that? But I'm going to reward her because we're getting to this place. It's important. Thank you. Who else had it? The almost. All right. Where's almost? Let me see that. You're almost trying to... no, almost. All right, here you go. Come. You're going to see the reason for this. You're welcome. Awesome. So there we have it. Now, why? What happens to connect those dots? You have to think out of the box. True? So at the moment you look at it, something comes to you. Exactly, how can I connect it? And then you may do it. It may not necessarily be right, because there is a right way, which you must look at and ensure that it's the same. And that happens when we have children in our midst. That happens when we're parents. That happens when we're teachers. And so, as it says, my name is Natisha Johnson, and the thought there is, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much, by Helen Keller. And that is a fact. And so as we go throughout this afternoon, we're looking at school plus home, learning, school plus home, so it's the equation. School plus home equal learning, equipping families to enhance and extend learning at home. And there we have school, there we have the home. And under, you see, it says, the two dominant forces in the learning process. True? That's how we learn. We have the home, which is the first place. And the home varies, the first place that the child comes into. The first institution of learning. And then, some of us push them out really fast still, you know, to enter the classroom, to go to school, because you're so busy. Can't get the time to do the teaching that you need to do at home. So sometimes they're thrown out there even before they reach 5 months. We have some teachers, maybe they're in here, and if you're early childhood trained, and you're teaching at an early childhood institution, sometimes you carry them to work with you. Anybody guilty? Yes, man, and they're sitting in a classroom, not getting that opportunity to have all that freedom that they need. But we know, as it says, that the school plus home, they are the dominant forces in the learning process. So what are we going to be looking at today? The definition of terms. So we're looking at home, we're looking at school, we're looking at learning. We're all educators, be it that you're a parent. So we have a general understanding of these terms. We're going to understand the commodity of time, very important. And some of you may be looking at your time right now. Then I may just chip in a little into operant conditioning Skinner, and why home and school must merge, and then I'll conclude. So what's home? And as you read, I'll just shorten it. So it's your house, your apartment, your condo, wherever it is, but you see a physical building, correct? It's also the place we feel. So you have the physical, and then you see it steps into the person, the individual, the child, those that occupy that space. And it speaks to feeling of comfort, love, and protection. So some persons may just have a house, but there's no home. And we've heard that term many times. So it is important that we make our houses homes. And homes are places where children, where you as the adult, be it you're the mother, the father, any additional sibling, you feel loved and protected. Home is many things to many people. And if we should go around and ask, some persons will tell you different things because we have different experiences in different homes. Some of us came into a space where we had mommy, daddy, both parents married, no dysfunctionalities, the ideal family. I don't think that really happens here in Jamaica where we don't have the ideal. I think here we have the ideal family, everything just copacetic and fine. You agree? Someone laugh. Yeah, you know, talk about the Joneses is just unique. So most of us in here wouldn't be having a lot of issues because we have done it right. Okay? It's where you live, I hear it now. Yeah, because in the Jamaican society, we know there are a lot of things that influence the home. A lot of us have all different sort of baggages. A lot of us were not parented right, and then we continue. But home, looking at home, feel at home in someone said, here we say people might feel at home in a bookstore, a park, or certain cities. So the ideal home, some of us may have that. Some of us may be homeless, but it's still home for some persons. But today we're going to be looking at the home as it relates to the ideal. And when I say ideal, it doesn't mean that there are not dysfunctionalities there. Okay? School. So a school is both the educational institution and the building designed to provide learning spaces and learning environments. And down there it says a place where children go to be educated. Educated. So when they step in, if you're a teacher, when a child steps into your classroom, if you're a principal, when a child steps into your institution, that space must be a space that when they enter, they do not leave the walls the same way they came in. And we're hoping that they do not leave worse. Or the struggle is real, and in the media now is a lot of things that's happening within our schools because of some of the terrible things that's happening in our homes. So you see, as stated earlier, they both have to merge, and we must have a particular goal that we want to achieve. And that goal, as I go through this presentation, will determine the outcome. Then we have learning. Ever hear someone says, you know, you have 2 ears, 1 mouth, listen twice as much as you speak? Yes? When we speak of learning, there must be some internal change. Do you agree? The only way you know that you have learned something is because it has had an impact on you, and that impact can be positive as well as negative. So it's a transformative process. Something is happening. You know, when you have vinegar, baking soda, when you put the two together, what happens? You have a chemical, shout it out, reaction. That happens when we're learning. So some classrooms, when you go in there, they're under fire. They're reacting. Some of them may be noisy, and teachers, well, I hope we don't have any principal that says, the classroom must be quiet, no noise in there. We have different types of noise. So when the learning is taking place, children getting, everybody talking, no, not everybody. The in thing now is stream. We move from stems to stream. So it's where they're exploring. It's not just sitting on chalk and talk anymore. So when learning takes place, we're going to have change. Change what we know and build on what we do. It's based on input, process, and reflection. And there we have information. So information is always coming. Information is always coming at us. And we now have to process. And I will write the acronym for me, ACT. ACT. So A, you acquire information. You acquire the knowledge. Then C, you must change. So sometimes we have issues in the process of learning because there is no change within us, and we want to move to T, which is to teach. See? So if you have learned something, you must compartmentalize it, internalize it, change, and then you can do what? Teach it to others. That's what teachers do. So teachers are always prepared. That's why you do your plans, etc., because you're just ready. You have learned, you know how to impart this knowledge. Then I want to speak on time. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Is there anyone who wants more than 24 hours? Who? Not on planet Earth. Because we know how that setup is. Orbit, etc. Can't mess with that. But it is a fact that all of us get how many hours? 24. No more? So how is it then that some people get so much done within the time? Shout it out. Why? Manage. And I love hearing persons say time management. But you can't really manage time, you know. You know what you manage? Yourself. So some of us have not learned to manage ourselves, and that is the problem that we face. So, when we look at time, it says human beings are able to accomplish all that is seen because of time. All the accomplishments, everything that has happened, it's the commodity of time. The commodity of... So I'm going to disaggregate this time commodity. This 24 hours and how we use it in school and home. Very, very important. So how many hours does a child spend basically in school? 5 to 6, some maybe 7. So let's say we move it to 7, because a lot of teachers do extra lessons, and then after you're finished, you also take a child that is not going, at the level of mastery, or if they haven't reached proficiency, and you do extra time, and then you wait again to do your review of your lesson and reflections. True? So you are there more than that number of hours, and sometimes we may have some children that may live a little longer. But how many hours does a child stay when they get home? How many hours are they using up at home? If it's 7 or 8, shout it. Between what? 17, 18, 16 hours they're at home. And then we want to know, what are they doing there? Let's go back. All right? What are they doing there? So it's 24 hours available to every Jack boy and every Jill girl. 24 hours. So time at school must be used efficiently, and so the time at home. So let's look at school. There we have it. I spoke about that already. And we see the total number of days that should go for the entire year. I think it's 190. I think that is not correct. Teachers, how many hours we basically spend for the academic year in the principal? At least 190 hours we should serve within the ministry stipulates that. All right? And then while they're at school, there's a lot that's happening. We have a break time. So it's a lot of teaching children how to manage themselves to use their time efficiently. Then we go to time at home. So 17 to 18 hours, and we're saying, what are they doing there? And that's what I want to hit a little on or talk a little on today. It says home is where a lot of damage takes place. A lot of damage is allowed to seep into the child's development, causing them to become maladaptive. Have you experienced any maladaptive behaviors in students at school? Anyone? Yes? A lot. What are these behaviors? It begins from early, We talk about terrible 2. When I had my son, I called it terrific 2. When I hear everybody calling it terrible 2, I said, I'm going to change that and make it terrific 2. So I had to guide him through the process, because the thing is that children are mean and selfish, and they're just born that way. There's nothing you can really do about it. It's just me, I want it now, and it's just the given. So they have to be taught that you have to consider others, and the only way they can do that is to not give them all the time what it is that they need, and hence we have tantrums. And as parents, as we sit in here, and as teachers are experiencing a lot of tantrums, especially after COVID. Some children didn't go to daycare, so they didn't get the opportunity to go through the little process, so they came straight into a formal classroom. And boy, they give it to you. Take away the crayon? How dare you? Some of them reach the point of becoming so violent as a 4 and a 5-year-old. They throw the desk, throw the chair, and they slap you. And you're saying, my gosh, in my time, thank you, Jesus, that I have learned to manage myself, because all you do that to my mother 2 years, when me little wham, wham, wham. And now you hear no corporal punishment, don't beat them. Because it's over the 20 years of beating and 30 years of beating why they're so violent now, because after a while it comes back to haunt us. But that's for another debate at another time. So you have these maladaptive behaviors starting from that early. And if it's not dealt with, then children continue down that line. And then you have the flip. When you call it terrific too, and you speak with them, because the reality is, communication is very important. And sometimes we don't have the time to talk. So you have to stop sometimes, get down to the child's level and speak to them. Don't stand up here and talk down and say, here, mister, put it down, sit. Sometimes you have to kneel. You see how tall I am? 5 feet 9 inches, maybe 6 now in the heels. And at school, I like wearing pants. I put on a little sneaker, because I get down there on the ground. I'm happy my school is clean. But even if it's not, you get down there and you get up and you brush off, because you find that when you go face to face, it creates a different feeling for the child. They don't feel that you're intimidating them. And it's not just the child, that it's in the animal kingdom too, because if I have cats and they have taught me that the cat, you realize cats don't like staying down on the ground, and if they're in the house, where they go? They find a space where they're up there, because they must always be able to see what's coming at them. So you can just imagine how that little one shaking his head over there, right? How your child feels when they're down there and you're coming at them. So we have to work around that. So the driving force now that we have as it relates to home and the interaction and the teaching is no longer us communicating with our children, but rather screen time. True? Screen time. And I drop in a little there about B.F. Skinner. Operant conditioning, sometimes called instrumental conditioning or Skinner's conditioning. The method of learning that uses rewards and punishment to modify behavior. So just now when we started and I speak about thinking out of the box, and some persons did it right, some persons didn't get it so right, he speaks about chaining and shaping. And we find sometimes that only when you do it right, you get a reward. Yes? True? And if you make an attempt, sometimes you don't get any reward for it, but you're trying, We have to make the system in such a way now within our classroom where it's not the common right and wrong, but you're guiding and helping the children to move along. So once they have gotten to that part where, you do it right one time, you get a reward and we work our way up. And hence I've carried a few little things and I'm going to be asking some persons to volunteer to come up in a little while. So we have shaping. Shaping focuses on reinforcing closer and closer. So the closer you get to it, what happens? After a while, we hear about practice becomes perfect, but practice is becoming better and better and better and better and better. You just keep getting better and better because things are always being built on. Get a cell phone, S9, where are we now? Tech persons, S24? You get your iPhone, today, and it's not that the persons who created these gadgets, all the ideas were there a long time, but they roll it out in phases because it's the business. And so we have to also look at some of these things and use it to guide us as it relates to how we interact with our children. All right, so examine your goal for teaching. So I spoke about screen time. What's happening now? Tablets, all the different gadgets in this technological age and dispensation, it's not bad. Let us stop saying that because it's just the time that we're in now. We hear a lot about chalk and talk doesn't work in the classroom anymore. Putting the children outside. I went to a seminar and I remember they were saying that we should take them outside to play in the dirt. But dirt gives germs now. When you have you don't want them to touch the dirt anymore, and you don't want them to be in a space where you're not there to supervise them, so we're not building any resilience anymore. As them fall on, you pick them up. You know, those kind of stuff from they were younger. And we find that when they don't get the opportunity to do those things, what happens? They're not really resilient. But just to go back, when we look at the whole screen time, I'm saying that it's not bad, it just needs what? Supervision. So tablets, smartphones, because some of us as parents, we give the children the phones, and I want us to be conscious of that. Most times, the children have these devices unsupervised. So I want to drop in for us today as parents, speaking to parents now. Just find some time to go online, the app stores, wherever. Look at what is what you can buy. And create your own little space on those devices, that learning space for your children. Agree? So if it is that they're supervised and you have specific things for them to do, then it will not become the children just watching violence and doing all of these stuff, and then they're going to be mimicking it, because that's the next thing I want to move to. Positive and negative, it takes almost the same amount of energy for you to be good or be bad. So the gadgets can affect your children positively if it is that you want that to happen. So, the ideal learning institution. You have to look as a parent, as a teacher, what am I teaching? How will I teach it? Who am I teaching? And how will I know if the students are understanding or if your child is understanding? You must ask yourself those questions once you get into interacting in the classroom or when it is that you're at home. So there we have, I use this image because a lot of times, sometimes we don't pay attention to the simple act of wiping our bottoms. Most persons, it's not something that we speak about, but it's things that children must learn, and it's also a very important part of their development. So at home, as a mommy, what would you do by the child is 3, 4? They're getting out of diapers, pull-ups. You start using their little potties. If it's the chimmy still? They make all these beautiful things now that they can use their own little potty, and they put water in it, and some of them have some batteries and water flowing, all sorts, right? So the act of cleaning a child's bottom, which is very important for their development. Sometimes when they mess on themselves, we shout, and you call them nasty. And when they have the little accidents, and you think that it has no impact. But you ever hear once a man, twice a child? You find that when even adults become old and they become incontinent and stuff, you see the shame that comes with that. We have to remember that that happens in the development of children. And so, merging school and home, you see what's happening? So the same things that are taught at home, which is something so simple, such as wiping the bottom, you come to school and you have teachers setting up. Depends on what you're teaching in class. I think that was a guidance class. And you're showing how is it. So they put 2 balloons, put some brown paint between it. And there you have the children. They just went off. Lord, nasty Jesus. Ew, I don't want to touch it. Even though they know that it was paint. Right? And then we show them how to wipe. The direction in which you should wipe. So make sure you tap into that. And encourage, for those who have the babies now and they're coming up, that you're teaching them that. And I just use that to show how important it is that we are all collaborating and we're working together. So that reinforcement happens at school, and it is also happening at home. What we need to teach. So what legacy do you want to leave behind? And on screen, we have a lot of mimicking happening. Have you ever heard your child? There's a little girl, I remember, I was talking with her, and then she get off into some twanging. And Mrs. Johnson, you know that, and she was just going. And I'm like, I know she never traveled before. never been anywhere. And so you find that the more time children spend watching these videos from different countries because of the lingua, the accent, if you don't get in tune and speak with them, they adopt that accent, you know. You see how children are a sponge? It will happen at some point, but this is where, as parents, you have to tap in when you start hearing it and do what? Start speaking and communicating with them. And if they stay there 12, 14 hours, I must share with you, I have a little girl that when she comes to school, she is standing and sleeping. Teacher asks her to stand up and she's dozing off. She's just always sleeping. And when we inquire, I think her dad had shared that when they go off to bed, she hides, gets up back, and she's on the device. Now in my house, some of you may say that could never happen. You go to bed, you go to bed. So we have these devices and we find that children will mimic a lot of the behaviors that they see there. So if a child watch Batman jump off of the thing with him cape, what you see them? Just pray to God they don't go too high and jump off while they're at your house to break any limb. But the reality is that they want to explore, and the information that is coming into them, you have to make sure that you're tapping into that and bringing clarification, letting them understand that you can get hurt. Anybody ever had that experience? Yes, your child jumping off and karate, hiya, kai, hee, they're going on with all sorts of stuff when you're watching them at play. But you have to become comical too and be there with them, and sometimes let them feel that pain when they do that kick. Play with them and let them feel it, them know that it hurts. Because when they go to school and do it to somebody else's child, it's hurting them. And then in that situation, now you can teach them that, no, this is not what you do. It may seem simple, but I'm telling us that these are some of the simple things that we don't pay attention to at home that now causes our children to be so violent in schools. True? So let us tap into that. So the ideal situation that we want, the ideal home situation fosters these. So you have learning. So we're looking at reading and writing, literacy, numeracy, all of those. Then you have rest time. When you teach your child that they have to slow down and get a little nap at home, when they go to, I'm speaking of early childhood now, the older ones don't sleep anymore, right? There's a lot of work to do. Early childhood too, I hear no more sleeping in the classroom, no more nap time. But you know it is very important. Miss says the children don't want to. The brain's busy. But they must learn to. Because the devices that they're in, and we know the whole chronology that is set up where the brain's just busy, 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 right? So they have to slow down. Eating habits, sitting and eating, slowing down. Sitting before the device and eating at home. When they get to school, it's a problem. Can't sit down at the chair, jumping up and down all over the place and giving teacher a headache. Why? Children will duplicate what happens at home at school. So you have to be cognizant of the fact that everything you do at home must be deliberate. It's not children growing adults. It's adults growing children, and adults must be mature, not just in age, but also as it relates to development and wisdom and understanding. So when these little things and they're watching and eating, and you find they eat a lot of food when they're watching the device, geez, they can't stop. Always eating, always hungry. It's just them go back and open the refrigerator. And this is what, as they get up out of bed, can I turn on my tablet? Some of your children don't ask. Listen, in my home, my husband, my son, he's 8, and he knows he never takes up that tablet without our permission. Why? From he was young. He got his first tablet at around 3 years old. And it's always a reward for him. Never something that you have at your fingertip to take it up as you have a feel. I'm not saying that how you should grow your children, you know. But you have to examine what works in your house because you rule your house. So if you find that it's having a negative effect, parents, make a change. You know how many things I get done from that boy? because him want the tablet. Almighty Lord. A whole lot of things I get done because of that. Values and attitudes, don't want to dismiss that. Integrity, kindness, courteous. If you have siblings at home, and we'll always have sibling rivalry, it's in the Bible. Mother against this and all the different things that happen, because it will happen. But you have to know, make sure that you're tapping in and helping children to understand that they have to be kind. If they can't be kind at home, even to you, you can't buy a juice and you ask your son or your daughter for some and them tell you no, them not give it to you. It's all for money buy it. And you laugh and say, Meanie, you mean like what? I'm not buying nothing again. Or for some of us, we're just passive, we say nothing. You must tap into that simple act so that you can teach them how to share. Home, school. Community influence, very important. So whoever else lives within the house, some persons, there's maybe a big yard. If it's just your home, when you go over to other family members, pay attention to how they interact. Because you get a synopsis of what it is that will happen when they go out to socialize with others. And it's very important now. The great problem we're having now is because we have not taught our children to socialize well. Because some of us don't know how to. Remember, I spoke about learning. Learning must cause change. Church attendance, that don't happen no more. Especially when COVID came, everybody now screen. And you just sit down, no matter what you have on, you're not even dressed up for church anymore. And the screen before, I'm in church, online. I love my church. The online vision, clean and nice, it's like you're there. So just turn on YouTube, live stream, and you're in church. But get them out. We have to start going back into that space and interact. Forget not the assembling of the saints, praise the Lord. Because when we get into that space, we now get a chance to look into Sister Monica's eyes. We can shake her hand and fellowship. And if something is happening, Sister Monica just feel that when you look at her with compassion, she may just break and share something with you. Maybe she was down the road of destruction, but here comes help. And your children, when they go to Sabbath or Sunday school, they learn the different stories. Sometimes, you ask the children in class about David and Goliath. You ever ask some of them and they don't know about that anymore? Serious times we're living in. Those things we knew at the back of our hand. All right, playtime. There's a time to play. Make them play. Go out and play. Natisha Johnson, go out and play with Joshua. Stop carrying home schoolwork and do it and tell him that you're busy. He says, Mommy, aren't you going to retire now and so you can get some time to spend with me? I'm saying to you, make the time to play with them. There we have teaching experience. That's at a class. So look at it. You see the students are sitting and they're working by themselves. That may be the ideal. But look at what's happening at home. You see, when you can sit with children and get them engaged at home, be it one-on-one, when they go to school, what will happen? It's not new to them. So if you have them running up and down when they get home, when they get to school, it can be an issue. There was one little boy, he loved the ground. Everything, time is just on the ground, he's under the table. And I couldn't understand why. Why was this happening? I tell you, the home is duplicated when they go out. I discovered that at home, there was no table and chair. So homework was done on the ground, just lie down on the ground. Eating was done on the ground. And hence, when he came to school, it was difficult for him to settle in, to sit on the chair. You see, the poor child, is not his fault or her fault, But what happens, I know a lot is put on teachers, but sometimes you have to have a little one or two conversation. Don't be hard on yourself if you don't get to that conversation. But when you see it happening, Mommy, Daddy, I realize such and such. And sometimes we can be proactive and we can think and figure out sometimes. Or you send them to the guidance counselor, the psychologist. But what you have happening is that because the child was not socialized that way, he was giving teacher a whole heap of problem because he was just down on the ground. Get up off the ground, get up off the ground. But he kept going there because when he gets home, that's what's happening. Which takes me to when you get home, the whole thing of learning the numeracy and literacy. Parents have to work with teachers to make sure that everything you learn at school is reinforced. No parent, I challenge you, should not know what's happening at school with your child in their school book. One whole month and you never see the book? Can't. All if teachers say, I don't want it in my classroom, find creative ways. You must see what is happening. And there we have the one-on-one. Time to write, settle them, do it at home, they will settle and do it at school. Field trips. I remember, here we have, and these are parents, so it shows the community must be a part of the whole process. So these were parents that were accompanying, I think, ECC, on the reading on the corner. And there they were coming down to the waterfront. I share this with you just to show that when the two comes together, you have some parents who are not working, they will volunteer to come into this classroom. Don't bother run them away. You see, if them vulgar and loud, some parents are like that. What is the school for? Educating. I know we have a lot to deal with the children, but if we can tap into the parents and create some change there too, 1 or 2 times, you will find that you can have change. Because the parent now learns to behave in a better way. Because they come into a space where they have to manage themselves. And there we had engagement in school community activities. So I'm at conclusion. But before I do the conclusion, it says, when the two dominant force, school plus home, commingle in a positive way, there is a cascading effect, which results in child becoming the model that is seen in the mind of the observing participant, be it the teacher or the parent. The child will not, by magic, become a better reader, become a better writer. No, they won't. It has to be that we teach them. Do you agree? We have to have the right attitude, so you can't be lying and then you tell the child not to lie. Impossible. Let me venture into one of the biblical gymnastics here. And there we have, it says, you parents, you are the potters. Teachers, you are the potters, believe it or not. And you are able to shape children in the way that you want them to be. It's going to be a challenge. If it was easy, everybody would do it. And I know standing here and saying it is easy, but I can tell you I've been in the dirt, in the grind, so I know that it's a challenge. It is easy to be negative. Everybody say that. It's easy to be negative. Shout it out louder. Yes, it's easy. But you see, to work against, to swim upstream, it's hard. But it can be done because others have done it. So I want to encourage us to be more positive and to teach the children to be positive. What they become is a manifestation and demonstration of our collective efforts. I repeat, it will not happen by magic. It is when you and I, as the movers and shakers, remain focused. Everybody say focus. Determined. Everybody say determined. That we will play our part to the best of our God-given ability, working towards the outcome that we see in our minds, because we always envision something. The world that we want, we will build that legacy when it is that we enter into the echo chambers of history, and the generation that we want, the future that we want for them, is when we can commit, no matter how hard it is, commit to doing good. Commit to ensuring that as mothers, as fathers, even if it is that the parties are apart, you find time. If you don't like see the husband don't like see you, find the time to go to school at different times and become a part of the child's learning process. If it is that it's teacher, sometimes we do get annoyed sometimes because you have so much doing and contact time, parents want to come within that time. But you know your parents and know when it is they can or cannot. So you just make a little compromise and find the time. And in closing, I have some rewards and stuff up here. So I'm going to ask 2 persons to come quickly. Learning must always be fun. True? And YouTube showing us, come up here, good, good, good. And she get her chocolate for coming first. One more, just one more. Excellent. Learning must always be fun, and there's so many videos and stuff that we've been watching, and it shows us how it is that we can engage our children. It happens in the classroom, happens at home. So what are these 2 ladies going to do for me? They're going to create a sequence. Blue, yellow, orange, blue. So whichever order, you're going to have blue. What did I say? Let me see who was listening. Blue, yellow, orange, blue. For those who didn't see, so we had one person completing that in less than 5 seconds, very fast. We have to remember that our children go at different speed, and you too go at different speed. And then watch what happened now. The young lady went and snatched out of what she had right to fix her own. It happens. It may seem simple, and it's not that she's dishonest, but probably just aware of her own space and what she's doing, not even taking note genuinely that she actually fixed it already. We have to be mindful of others, very important. And when it is that we make our errors, don't be hard on yourself. You know, the children now would say, "Why you take up my something for? Put it back." You know, when you see them behave like that, don't be too hard on them either. So here you go, ladies. Thank you. So, you got one already? I'll give you another. Thank you. So, while we're at home, parents, I want to encourage us to have fun with them. Who love clothespins? Clothespins. Very integral in the learning process. May I have 2 other persons coming? Quickly, just run up here. Please, I'm begging. Literally. Thank you. Look at how they're walking. Let's see if they're walking with alacrity. Take note, you know. So sometimes you call the children in class, or as parents you call them and take 1 ear for reach up, and then you have some of them run come. Take note, these are simple things, but sometimes because we don't have the patience, we get so annoyed, you know? Because I could be saying, "Why don't you hurry up and reach up here?" So, when we're washing, mommies, daddies wash too. So we're washing and we are talking about teaching colors. Very important. Now, all early childhood persons, you know, this is for what? What kind of skill you're building? Fine motor skills. And it helps them with writing. And just to tap back into what I'd said before, the bottom cleaning, you know that if the finger's not strong enough, that bottom not wiping properly. And hence, when you have your 3-year-olds or 4-year-olds at school and they come back to the classroom and you smell feces, and you say, "Boy, you never clean your bottom." Sometimes the fingers, because if that child is not writing in a classroom, you know, there are issues there, you know, the finger's not so strong. So you see, we have to connect everything and help them. So I'm going to mix them up. And I'm going to ask, I'll hold it out. And let me say, on your mark, get set. When I say go, what are you going to do? I want each of you to pick up as fast as you can 2 green pins. On your mark, set, go! Good. All right, pin it back. Oh, she was about to put it in. These are little things that you can do, and you can ask them to take the pins, take up 2 green pins, take up your green shirt and hang it on the line. Even make a makeshift green line, put it on the green line. So reinforcement is important. All right, Next one activity, you're going to, I'll ask one person. So you're going to go green, yellow, pink, white. I'll say it one time. Sequencing. You see, it's simple things that we can do to help them. So I want to encourage parents to play around with them a little. Take a little 5 minutes, 10 minutes out of the hard working time that you have and do it. While they're still here, she said, Miss, don't blow it any further. I know she's afraid of. Hold. Do I have another color? No, only yellow. Who love balloons? Children love balloons? Yes, man. Once they start blowing a balloon, you see him down there? It lights up. So they love balloons. Now we can use the same things that they love to engage them. And I know I'm maybe teaching some of this. Some of you already know it. So we have 2 markers. Take them. So your child having issues with doing the little spelling, and let's not go to spelling, because early childhood, you know, some of them, they're doing well with that, but just the sounds, letter sounds. And you always just take a pen and paper. Write it on the paper. You know, some children find this a verse, they don't like seeing it, especially the boys. A lot of boys, you know, it's difficult to write. It's not a joy thing for them. Boys are energetic and always want to be on the move. Right, gentlemen around the back? Yes, man. Some of you remember when you were younger, you had issues? How many write very fast? When all the girls moving ahead of you, you were behind. So we find fun ways to allow them to do activities. So when I make the letter sound, you will write the letter on the balloon. Don't press too hard and burst it, especially because you don't like balloons. All right, so the letter that we're going to do is S. S. Ah. Turn that around, let's see what we have. Turn it around and show. Go ahead. Turn it around. Did you see what happened when I made the expression a while ago? Did you see her face? Okay. Next person. Check out the S. Don't turn it. Don't change it. Turn it around. Turn it. No, I was deliberate when I made the expression. And did you see doubt on her face? Like she's saying, why she make the sum? Sure it right. And she turned it wrong quick to look again. See? Confidence is very important when we're teaching our children. Even when you're wrong, confident wrong. There's nothing wrong with that, and then they must just be open to learn, to make that change. Turn around your S, pretty lady. Turn it around. She said, you see, it's because my S not right good, she want me turn it around. Turn it. Now, different things could influence why she wrote it that way. Maybe it's just the feel of the balloon. It could also be the angle. But you can tell us why? You know why you wrote it that way? It could be nerves. She's standing up here, everybody looking, and she said, I pity them not know what my heart a beat fast, you know. You know, it could be so many factors that could allow her to do that, but it's not that she doesn't know how to write S. Can you write the S properly for us? She already corrected. You see, so what we have sometimes when we make our errors, be that your teachers, be that your parents, and with the children especially, be patient, be gracious. So we're doing some tests sometimes and the child turned the letter the wrong when people into argument know about if it turned wrong, then him get the word wrong. What is the goal you want? Always work towards the outcome. My husband always said that to me. If you get what you want as it relates to the outcome, yes. So ask the child to turn it around. Shaping. Let them keep going until they get it right. All right, thank you, ladies. So that was it for the balloon. The last one. My time is expired. 20 minutes finish. Last one. I can get 2 more. Just drop it. You can take the balloons with you. She says, but must. Quickly, 2 persons, and that's what I'm going to use to close off. Come on, and the persons who are coming, make sure you have on slippers because you're going to take off the slippers. Don't make no fuss. I don't think they're screening down if the toes not so pretty, if it's well polished. Don't think about that. Quickly, 2 persons. 2, quickly, please. Thank you. You know, I've been there looking at her, she's just smiling. It has been good just looking at your face while presenting. You give a level of comfort. All right, 1 more. Awesome. So I'm going to put the papers on the ground. Remember, they're taking off their shoes. I thought you were coming. Yes. Come on, walk briskly up here. Thank you. All right, so just take off one foot. Now you're going to find that the foot that she take this shoe from maybe is her strong hand. So if she's right-handed, it's possible that she took off the right. Am I correct?
Yes, I'm right-handed.
Oh, but that's fine. Take off or come. Okay, so turn. Face the audience. Now they're going to take the crayon up with their, oh, let me not do that. I'm going to ask them to place the crayon between their big toe and the other one. That one name. Oh, you have on stockings. All right, pull it right down. Good. Creative. She said, Miss, I have on stocking, I can't put it on. We have to teach our children to be flexible. You find solution. You see how simple it is? But she push it and tuck it so that it can get in there. Good. Now you're going to write your first name. So you're going to write, you can use the, you see what they did? They know the paper going to move. They use the other foot to anchor it. So you're going to write your first name. Somebody say, holy heap of work that. Suppose it's only 3 letters inside the name. Let's go. This lady's, woo. So I see a S, H, A. She said, I'm giving her the short name. That's the nickname, you know. She's not going to write out the other one. S-H-A. S-H-A-N-N-A. Shanna. Yes. What we have over there? Oh, Lord. Pick them up and give them to me. Wow. What is this over here? Tibia. So here is Shanna. You see that? Clap her. Yes, man. Give her a round of applause. We started off with the whole connecting the dots. You have to think out of the box, and sometimes with thinking out of the box, because probably she could say, Miss, no, Miss, how much write with my toe? That something I do. I walk on my feet. I don't use it to write. And here is, you can see it is a little faded because of the color. So it's tibia, T-I-B-I-A. Clap her, yes. I love that person down there. Now which one of them is the better of the 2? Point to it. Call out the name. Shanna. Now look at Shanna's name. You see the curve S, what she have to form? And look at T, you see the T? You see that? You can't see the T. Oh, because it's pale. It's there, but it's there. And then you have the I, and then you have the B. You'll see the letters where Shanna use her feet to make the, you know how challenging that must be? Because even with tibia, it's mostly sticks that she's actually doing. It's just 2 curves. But you see what's happening here? No. We are making the comparison, but we applauded both of them for their efforts. It's the same with our children. They will operate differently at different phases. They will do things at the level that they're able to manage. And we will continue to encourage them to keep going. Now, ladies, was it difficult to write with your feet? With your toes holding? How did it feel holding the?
It felt weird.
It felt weird. One other adjective?
Well, for me, I normally use like the right leg, but because it's sick, I try it with the left leg. Because sometimes, even if I'm outside with the kids, then I'm a big kid with them. I'm a totally big kid with them. I will sometimes say, let's do some different. Especially my baby at home, they will take up sticks and
Oh, I know I'm cutting her off short, but you see why she writes it better than this? She have some what? Experience. Tibia, is this something you do? So our experiences also informs how we operate. Some parents may be working with the children at home, they're involved, and hence some children will always do better, right? Because there is experience. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, thank you. Let's give them. You realize everyone that come, what did I give them? A reward, and it's sweet chocolate, and I have to sweet up the children. I had one more, but I'm not going to move to that. I'll leave that alone. I'll just tell you. Colors, the elastic bands, always fun to play with. You tell them how many orange you want, how many green, and hurry up and take it out, and you compete with them. So I just want to say to us, thank you for sharing with me, and I hope that you have learned something. It says coming together is the beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success. School and home, if we get that mix right, I am telling you, those two dominant factors will cause us to have a different generation, a different legacy. I want to say to us, final words, do not give up. There's a push for us to do that, to not keep up the good values. Do not give up. If it's one child you impact in your classroom, that's one, many, because that one will affect many others, the domino effect. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. God bless you. Keep having fun while we collaborate and work together to make Jamaica and the world by extension a better place. I'll take those after.
She finished. How much she finish? Any questions? Just one. No question? No comment? Clear as mud? It was great. I think so too. Next round of applause for her. So, children are a reflection of their parents and their teachers. Are you liking the reflection that you're seeing? All right. Parents and teachers are the potters, and the children are the clay in their hands. Are you being good potters? Are you molding that clay properly? Okay. What they become is a manifestation and demonstration of our collective efforts. So it's not you at home in your corner, teacher at home in her corner, and the community members in their corner. Because community come in there too, you know. Because you know community is home too. Yes. So it is our responsibility. So when you leave here today, remember that part. Remember that you're a potter. Remember that they are a reflection of you. So whatever it is that you're seeing where you don't like, you're going to have to try to fix it up. All right? And if you think you're making a mistake, call a friend. Call a friend. So thank you again, Mrs. Johnson. It was well received. Very well received. I wonder if I can write my name with me too. I have to go try it too. Yeah, I don't know if I can do it good like Shana, but I go see what I can do. Probably I get muscle contract. Yeah, but nonetheless. So, we are at the end of this session. We have a final session to go. However, you've been sitting quite a while. So I'm going to give you the chance to step outside of the classroom, go and use the bathroom, drink some water, take some fresh air, and return with us at 2:30. Remember, if you have not registered for the session that just ended with Mrs. Johnson, you can do so now, whether manually on the sheet or using the barcode that you see on the screen. All right? So you want to register. But I don't want to try to use phone. I don't want to learn new technology. I don't see it go on now. You will get to it? I went tomorrow? All right. Nonetheless, the manual registration is there, so we will return at 2:30 for our final session. All right? Thank you for your time. Oh, and of course, please evaluate the session. Thank you. How was it to you? You're going to put that on paper as well.